All right, let's dive into two of the biggest health challenges we face in the United States today: heart disease and cancer. They affect millions of us, and really, understanding them is the very first step to fighting back. So let's get into what we're really up against.
So let's start with the number, $695,000. That's how many Americans die from cardiovascular disease every single year. It's our #1 killer. And the craziest part, so much of it is often preventable.
And right on its heels, we have our second opponent, cancer. It takes an annual toll of around 612,000 lives in the U.S. You put those two together and you're looking at a massive public health battle that touches pretty much every family in some way.
But look, this isn't about fear. It's about knowledge. Yeah, the numbers are big, but our potential to fight back is so much bigger. The whole goal here is to give you a clear understanding of how these diseases actually work so you can take smart, informed steps to protect yourself. Okay, so to get what goes wrong, we first have to appreciate what goes right. So let's kick things off with the hero of our story, the incredibly hardworking cardiovascular system. Just look at the beautiful complexity of the body's engine. Your heart, it's only about the size of your fist, but it is an absolute powerhouse with 4 chambers. It acts like a dual-action pump, powering 2 totally separate but connected circulatory loops, all at the exact same time. Let's break down how that works.
So the first loop is what we call pulmonary circulation. The right side of your heart takes in all that bluish, oxygen-poor blood that's just come back from its trip around the body. It then pumps it on a quick trip over to the lungs for a little pit stop, to drop off all that carbon dioxide and pick up some fresh oxygen.
Now, once that blood is all reoxygenated and bright red again, it comes back to the left side of the heart. And this is what powers the second, bigger loop, systemic circulation. The left ventricle, that's the heart's strongest chamber. It gives a powerful squeeze and pumps that fresh, oxygen-rich blood out through the aorta, which is like the body's main superhighway, to deliver fuel to every single cell, from your brain all the way down to your toes. So, what happens when there's a problem in this incredible system? Well, that brings us to our first antagonist, cardiovascular disease. And honestly, the easiest way to think about it is as a major plumbing problem in the body's super intricate network of pipes. And this right here shows the most common plumbing issue. It's called atherosclerosis. Just look at the progression. It starts with a nice, healthy, clear artery. But then, over time, this stuff called plaque, made of fat, cholesterol, and other gunk, it starts to build up. It's kind of like a slow-motion traffic jam inside your arteries. The pipe narrows, blood flow gets squeezed, and if that plaque ever breaks open, a clot can form and just block the whole highway. And that's what can cause a heart attack or a stroke. So when that blockage happens in an artery that's feeding the heart muscle itself, that's a heart attack. The heart is literally being starved of oxygen, and the tissue starts to die. But here's something really important to know. About 1/3 of people having a heart attack don't get that classic crushing chest pain you see in the movies. Now, what if that same plumbing disaster happens in an artery that's headed to the brain? Well, that's a stroke, and this breaks down the 2 main types. The vast majority of them, like 87%, are ischemic strokes, and that's caused by a blockage, just like a heart attack. The other kind, which is more rare, is a hemorrhagic stroke. That's where a blood vessel actually bursts and bleeds into the brain. Okay, let's shift gears now. We're moving from a problem with the body's plumbing to a problem within our cells themselves. Let's talk about our second antagonist, cancer. And I think the best way to understand it is like a rebellion that's breaking out inside the body. At its core, cancer is kind of frighteningly simple. It's a disease of out-of-control growth. It all starts with just one single cell that mutates. It basically forgets the rules. It ignores all the stop signals from the body, and it just starts multiplying over and over and over again, creating this mass of rogue cells.
Now, it's important to know that not all tumors are cancerous. A benign tumor, like you see on the left, it's like a rebellium that's been contained. It grows, sure, but it stays put inside a neat little capsule. A malignant tumor, on the other hand, that's the one that breaks containment. It's invasive. It can grow into all the surrounding tissues, and that, right there, is the defining characteristic of cancer.
And that ability to invade is what leads to the most dangerous stage of all, metastasis. This is when cancer cells break off from that original or primary tumor. They manage to get into the body's transportation systems, the bloodstream or the lymphatic system, and they travel to totally different parts of the body to set up new colonies or secondary tumors. This is literally how cancer spreads.
Phew, so we've got clogged pipes on one hand and a cellular rebellion on the other. I know, it sounds pretty daunting, but here's the thing. Both of these diseases share some common enemies. And understanding these risk factors, that's where our power to fight back really begins.
What's so powerful about this is how clearly it separates what's in our control from what isn't. So on the right, you've got your genetics, your age, things you really can't change. But look at the left side. Those are the levers you can pull every single day. And here's the key insight. These levers work for both diseases. Things like your diet, how active you are, and whether you smoke, they dramatically lower your risk across the board because they often tackle the same root problems, like chronic inflammation.
So with all that knowledge, let's build an actual, actionable defense plan. Think of this next part as your personal toolkit for building a healthier, more resilient body. Okay, here's the game plan, all boiled down. On the left, these are the things to actively do more of. Eat more plants and fiber, get moving, and find ways to manage your stress. And on the right, the things to actively do less of, or just get rid of completely. Quit tobacco, cut way back on saturated fats and added sugars, and limit alcohol. These simple changes, they are your most powerful weapons, seriously.
Now, beyond lifestyle, early detection is absolutely critical. And this right here is a tool you can use like right now. It's the ABCDE test for melanoma, which is a really dangerous form of skin cancer. Just learn this. A for asymmetry, B for an irregular border, C for varied color, D for a diameter larger than a pencil eraser, and E for a mole that is evolving or changing. It is such a simple check that could literally save your life.
And finally, team up with your doctor. Regular screenings are your early warning system. You've got to know your numbers for blood pressure and cholesterol. And talk to your doctor about the right schedule for cancer screenings, like colonoscopies, mammograms, and others based on your age, your gender, and your personal risk profile. Catching things early just makes all the difference in the world.
Wow. Okay, we've covered a lot, huh? From the amazing mechanics of the heart to the rebellion of a single cell. But really, it all comes down to this one simple truth. Your health is your most valuable asset. So looking at everything we've talked about, what's one change, big or small, that you'll make starting today?